YouTube has already been making progression away from systems where human beings can still game the system towards systems that are run entirely by AI, ML, and algorithms. And in today's environment, YouTube is actually telling people to dislike stuff because the like and dislike button are moving into new roles, essentially, as algorithm tuning buttons. So, much like when you use a music service like Pandora and you have a like-dislike button to tell the system what songs you want to hear more of and what songs you want to hear less of, and I believe on Pandora and other services is don't play this song again when you hit the dislike button. When you use these systems, you are sending human feedback to augment the computer trying to figure you out. The problem is, and the reason why I support this change to remove the dislike counts is because, and actually, you know what? I would even go so far as to say YouTube should remove the like counts too. Literally just make it a thumbs up, down voting thing. Let the creator see it, but don't let the public see it. Likes too. Because if YouTube wants to be consistent with turning likes and dislikes into something that only influences individual creators or individual YouTube viewers' recommendations, then they need to eliminate the public aspect of it looking like some kind of voting system. So we spent last night learning about the half-assery and why YouTube is doing what it is they're doing with the half-assery. And one of the things that we actually saw YouTube doing was encouraging people to dislike videos. Not directly encouraging people to dislike videos, but YouTube was encouraging people using YouTube Music to dislike songs in order to tune their recommendations to hear less of certain songs. This is Stream Beats by Harris Heller. This is actually music that you're cleared to use in your stuff here. So here's YouTube Music. I have a like button and a dislike button. Does this look familiar? Yeah, well, this is something you'd get if you were using Pandora. Ow! How loud was that? That was very loud. How loud was that? That was very loud in my headset. Oh yeah, it's cranked all the way. Let's put it at like this. I recognize it because it's from the Chiptunes. I recognize it because it's from the Chiptunes thing. Yeah, there we go. That's from the Chiptunes album. So, let me see here. If I make this full screen, now it's basically showing a picture. Music.youtube.com/watch is the URL. What happens if I change it to www.youtube.com and keep it the same? There it is. Bam! I've left the YouTube Music interface and I've gone to Stream Beats by Harris Heller. Comments are turned off. I don't know if that is actually Harris Heller that is actually doing this. I don't know if that's Harris Heller that's actually doing this. I think it might be a default thing because these topic videos, because these generic, or should I say auto-generated videos and stuff like that, where is it? Provide YouTube by DistroKid, auto-generated by YouTube. There it is. And literally I can go to any one of these. Let me go to Pixel Lounge. I liked that one. Yeah, so here's Pixel Lounge, way too loud. Here's Pixel Lounge, which is from the Chiptunes album. And I basically have all of these Stream Beats things here. Now, let me actually change the URL again and switch over to music.youtube.com and see if it works in reverse. So the same metadata, but if I change the URL over to music.youtube.com, do this. It switches over to YouTube Music. So you see what we have here? Do we have any lyrics? Of course not. It's an instrumental. But there we go. So basically, you have YouTube with a music client that piggybacks off of these auto-generated picture-only videos on YouTube, quote unquote. So YouTube Music, YouTube is actually telling people to dislike songs that they don't want to hear as much of. That way it'll tune their recommendations. So if I dislike this, I'm basically doing something similar to hitting the dislike button on Pandora, although dislike on Pandora says is me saying don't play this again or something like that. But this feeds the algorithm my own direct feedback without the computer having to guess, so that if I play a random playlist on here, then the way it would work is YouTube would try and guess what music I want to listen to, and I'd enjoy it more, as opposed to something completely random that might include stuff that I'm not really all that interested in, or maybe some tracks I don't really jive very well with. But here it is. This is the algorithm use. Let's see, Pixel Lounge, yeah. Yes, the like dislike is showing up in there. I have my web browser cropped to look more like a feature here. But this is it right here. This is the like and dislike button as an algorithm feature. And so if I dislike this Stream Beats song, if I click dislike, got it. We'll tune your recommendations. And I just got bounced over to something else. Let me go back to Pixel Lounge and turn off the dislike, as I actually really like Pixel Lounge. If I click like, add it to your likes. So, as we see here, just because this is an intelligent use of the dislike button. However, if there's a bunch of, what this means is that your dislike count now means less than it did if you're a musician. Because people who start using the dislike button for its algorithmic purposes don't really care about personally insulting you. They only care about getting YouTube systems to show them the right stuff. So this is an intelligent use for the dislike button that is perfectly legitimate and perfectly in line with what YouTube is doing. It makes all the sense in the world that the dislike counters would be made private to the creator. But even the number that's private to the creator is now something you can very safely second guess. So if I'm a musician and stuff's going around YouTube Music, the dislikes I get don't necessarily mean that somebody actually dislikes my song. It only means that people, maybe they don't want to hear it as much, or it's not to their tastes or something like that. But it's not a personal insult. It's just people using a feature. So it's not something that I should really give a darn about or take personally. And this gets to something I said yesterday that is pretty darn accurate. One of the top, if not the number one problem on YouTube is people taking technical issues personally. I mean, if you get haters and trolls, who cares? But when you have likes and dislikes being given legitimate uses in the algorithm to tune your own personal recommendations, and the new scope of likes and dislikes is you talking to YouTube systems, not you talking to another creator. That completely changes things. So when you talk about we need to protect small creators because of issues with self-esteem or mental health because of their videos getting disliked, we're not talking about protecting smaller creators. We're talking about protecting inexperienced creators who haven't figured this out, or haven't learned this yet, or haven't learned why the like and dislike systems are, if they're not being gamed, they're rendered moot and irrelevant because of this stuff.